the real deal.
The Perun Speeder V2. We're going to unbox this bad boy. We're going to talk about the differences between the Speeder versus the original clicker, and we'll also see exactly how to install it and what comes in the box. So real quick, what's the difference between this and the original clicker? If you're chasing a mil-spec, realistic, crispy trigger, brake, and reset, it's also adjustable as well, go with the original clicker. But if you're planning on building something that you can cycle as fast as possible, you want to be able to spam it and have that amazing HPA-like experience through AEG, then go with this. So if you're chasing the speed, you go with this. But if you're chasing realism, you go with the original clicker. So let's do a quick unboxing. You get this little bag of goodies and the main part here, which is the clicker. All right, boys, let's take a closer look at that. Beautifully made. With this, you don't need to use the trigger attachment with the magnetic sensor. This is that. It takes the place of that. As you can see, it's not on this trigger right here. Out the box, you really don't need to change anything, boys. You can use the soft spring that's already installed. It does come with a replacement spring, which is a higher tension, and two other grub screws, which are replacements, and one's a different material. You're not really ever going to need those. All right, boys. There's three main points of adjustment, which is your take up. So basically, you want to adjust this so it's contacting your trigger at rest. We'll show you that in a second. This one right here adjusts the spring tension for the main trigger, and the bottom one is your over travel. So you want to adjust that when the gearbox is closed, but we'll get to that. Let's throw it right into the gearbox and see what we're working with. It's a 1.5 millimeter drive. If any of you guys are curious what setup we're running here, this is our real deal optimized DSG gear set. It has the optimized tappet cam positioning. You have such better results. It's like crazy. Real deal 39K brushless motor, full speed. You know, that's gonna give you 50 RPS. You could reduce the speed if you want. Real deal ultimate piston assembly, DSG variant, running our prototype high-speed palm piston head. All right, so this is a super easy installation. So you do not need your trigger return spring. As you can see, there's nothing here besides some shims on this shiny gold fun switch. Right now it's stock out the box. Nothing has been adjusted yet. Nothing's been adjusted. It's good to go. This little peg right here goes into the safety hole right here. And you want to do it with the trigger sitting in the gearbox. Putting it in the hole. You literally just push down, and that's it, boys. That's it. So now when it comes to adjustment, all right, this top screw, which you can kind of see right here, you want to screw that in to the point where it's touching the top of the trigger, and it is right there. It is. So when this system resets, it's pushing the trigger back to its reset point. So you want it to touch it. If you are using your trigger return spring, then you could create a two-stage trigger, basically, and you could not have that touching the trigger on the top, and then so you'll have creep before you engage the sensor, so to speak. But for the sake of speed, we're not doing that, so we're not using our trigger return spring. So if you're not, then adjust this top screw so that it touches the top of your screw. From here on out, these two adjustments, which is the weight of the trigger and the over travel, should be adjusted with the gearbox closed. So let's pretend that all the internal parts are there and we're about to close the gearbox. Right? You'd want to screw down your gearbox. I'm not going to do it for the sake of the video. But as you can see right here are your 2 points of adjustment. The top one is your trigger weight. That's up to you. But the bottom one, I would adjust first. And what I normally do is once you get to this point in the game, what I do is I would throw on my motor grip with the motor, secure the guide plug with like a screw and a washer, and cycle the gearbox, like shoot the gun, the gearbox. And when you pull the trigger and the shot breaks, you know, you could adjust your over travel so that it stops, so that the trigger doesn't travel past the shot break. And the trigger weight is up to you. And that's really it. So right now, this is what it's like. It's so butter. Yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. Let's assemble it and see the end results.
The real deal.